Hello, my name is Jason. I use he, him pronouns. This game is part of the Gauntlet online gaming community. If you like what you see, you'd like to check out our forums, check out gauntlet-rpg.com and see if maybe you want to play some games with us. Tonight, we're going to play Mothership from Tuesday Night Games. This is a scenario named The Calling, and this is session 4 of 4. It's our grand finale. And we're going to go around just quickly and introduce our players and their characters. So when it's your turn, just describe yourself with your pronouns, your character with their pronouns, briefly their class, their role on the team, and take a moment to just kind of get you back in the mood to think about what is your character's current physical, emotional, and political health. How are they feeling? And how do they feel about the state? Are they willing to follow the state blindly? Do they have questions? Are they becoming openly hostile? Any combination of the above. So class, title, role on team, and their physical, emotional, and political health. So let's start out with the leader of our group. Let's start with our lieutenant. Robbie, tell us about yourself and your character.
Okay, my name's Robbie. I use he, him pronouns. I am playing Vadim Snelkov, he, him pronouns. He is a Marine. He goes with the title Lieutenant. He is in okay shape right now. He has a little bit of damage from the conflict that ended our last session, but he's held it together fairly well. He is a kind of squat but burly fellow who clearly has been through quite a bit. He probably looks a lot older than he actually is because of all the scars and anxiety and bad situations he's been through. Not the smartest person on the block, but he's seen a lot of combat and dicey situations. He does have a kind of mystical religious side to him, and he is a counter-revolutionary, and he certainly has had his run-in with Kirill, and I think that if he didn't already have strong counter-revolutionary tendencies, I think as this mission has progressed, he's kind of increased his distaste for the traditional government, right, that we operate under.
Okay, that sounds like Vadim. Robert, tell us about yourself and your character.
Yeah, so I'm Robert. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing as Anatoly Stepanov. Nickname is Snacks, because he is usually seen eating something. Snacks is his class is the Teamster, so he's kind of a fixer-upper, pilot, shoots a gun when he needs to, as he learned last session. Shotguns up close, very, very good. Well, at least when you hit. That's the important part. But when you do, they're very good. Let's see, Snacks is doing pretty good. As far as stress goes, he's at 0 stress, because when I leveled up, I went ahead and cleared stress. Health, he's doing okay. Took a little bit of damage in that last fight. Politically, Snacks is kind of in between. He's kind of new to this whole thing. He's very poor and sort of open to corruption. Snacks is not a big fan of, all of the paperwork and all of that stuff that goes on in the party. He's more interested in getting that paper. He just wants to make some money. So whatever he can do to make some money, whether it's with the party or without, he's good.
Okay. Brad, tell us about yourself and your character.
My name is Brad. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Comrade Dr. Svetlana Dyatlov. Uses she, her pronouns. She is a decadent atheist who is rich. Her physical well-being is not pretty good at this point. I did clear the stress when we leveled, and she's losing a little bit of health from that last battle, but not too much. Politically, I think Svetlana is starting to question the party internally a little bit, felt a little bit lied to about what we saw on the ship. But I don't think that she's necessarily outwardly questioning things too much yet.
Okay. And Josh, finish us off.
Yeah, of course. I'm Josh, he, him pronouns. I'm playing Kirill, who also uses he, him pronouns. He is the android. He is in the team, the Commissar. He is a very idealistic party member. Although that is currently being tempered by his close brush, his exceedingly close brush with death, as he stands running mostly on adrenaline and painkillers in this last-ditch effort to get off planet.
Okay. Briefly for safety, we have the open door, X card, lines and veils, although our lines and veils are empty. Quick recap. Last session, you guys overcame a large creature called the Mothership by destroying the supply ship. Vadim and Kirill got into a heated discussion around the fire later about whether to destroy the evidence of what happened there. Svetlana and Snacks ended up voting with Vadim, though. You pushed down the next day and you reached the base at nightfall. And as you approached the base and got closer to it, you started to feel profound feelings of sadness, misery, and loneliness. You snuck around towards the blast doors that allow you entrance into the tower. And I think it was Kirill had the worst roll ever. You had rolled with advantage, but you rolled 2 99s, two critical failures. And ended up getting ambushed and attacked by 4 humanoidish, insectoidish sort of creatures. You had a tough fight, and as you each kind of mentioned, you took a little bit of damage here and there, or some of you took more damage than others, and you eventually prevailed. And Kirill, in the midst of that battle, had opened the blast door with a swipe card that he had found. And that's where we finished, with the door open and you having overcome these creatures. And briefly, let me go through and kind of capture some of the things that each of your character kind of conditions that maybe you have going on. So as I said, all 4 of you feel this profound sadness and misery. And as you've approached the tower, it's gotten a little bit more intense. Vadim, when you first entered the field, I asked you guys to make a sanity check, and you missed that. So in addition to feeling miserable and sad, this misery and sadness has gotten more intense to you, to where you actually you feel kind of snappy and irritable, like you want to bark and, snap out at people. In the course of the battle, you got bit by one of these creatures, and it seems to have some sort of anticoagulant spit that causes your wound to continue to bleed. So unless you get some first aid, you're going to end up bleeding, which means every hour you're going to take an extra 1d10 damage. But like I said, if you get some first aid, you can probably take care of that. You also ended up getting a critical failure and having your pulse rifle badly jam. You probably are going to need to sit down and try to unjam it. We'll cover that when we get to it. Snacks, I don't think you had any conditions other than just that same misery and sadness that everybody else has. Svetlana, you missed that same sanity roll that Vadim missed, so you also feel snappy and irritable. And Kirill, you ended up with an addiction to painkillers. You took one today, so you're okay, but you have to take a pain pill every day or you end up gaining stress. And you can't relieve stress unless you've taken a pain pill that day. You also, as I'm sure you noticed, are badly hurt. And to remind you guys, pain pills are kind of the only thing that you can use as sort of a healing potion that will give you immediate hit points. You can take multiples of them at a time. You risk addiction, though, and if you take a lot of pain pills, you also risk passing out. You also can take a stim pack that will give you sort of temporary hit points and also some temporary strength and combat boosts. But like I said, that lasts for D10 hours and then that fades away. In addition, you guys know that if you rest, you can recover hit points. And if you find some sort of medical facility, maybe some sort of medical equipment might help you heal also. Any questions? Everybody kind of back to where we're at.
Real quick, I
ahead.
do have one question.
Sure.
Because I am out of water and rations. So mechanically, what does that do next time we rest?
If you go a day without either one of them, I forget you. I think you make all rolls at disadvantage. Something like that. Let me look it up for you real quick.
I do have enough water for the whole group for one more rest, just for the record. So
Okay.
I've only been drinking a quarter liter.
And you guys did drink and eat on this day, so you're okay for at least another 24 hours or so. If you go without food and waters, yeah, you're at disadvantage on all rolls if you go 24 hours without food or water. Okay. So there you guys are. Let me get you to the map where you're at. You're all kind of around. Did I take you to it? Yes. You're all kind of around this door here that Kirill has opened with a swipe card. And you see that, this big door, I think it's like 4 meters high, probably 6 meters wide or so. These big, motorized doors open up, they slide open. And you see inside there's a wide hallway that kind of goes all the way along the inside here, and wherever these doors open up, and you're kind of towards this part of the hallway that actually there's two wide slanted floors. There's one slanted floor that goes down. There's one slanted floor that goes up, and the slant. You can see that the slanted floor that goes up ends in some doors, some double doors, like regular doors. And the slant that goes down ends in a huge blast doors drop down to secure wherever that went is secured by this huge blast door that's dropped down. So that's where you're at. You guys tell me what you want to do.
I'm gonna advise Svetlana to do a bioscan here to see if she's able to pick up any readings either going up or going down.
Sure. Yeah, get the bioscan out.
Okay. Go ahead and I think we had part of that horrible rolls. We established that there was a lot of interference from the tower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you make an intellect check, but you're making it at disadvantage. But because I'll have you just make it a straight up roll. Usually when you use this equipment, you would make a roll at advantage. So we'll say because of the interference, you have to make it a regular roll. So an intellect check using. Do you have I think you had biology, right? So use that.
I did. I rolled without that. Sorry.
Okay. That's fine. Well, we'll still count it. We'll count the first roll. There's that 99 again. So, as we said before, there's just too much interference here. Whether it's the electronics or the thick walls, you're not sure, but you can't pick up. It's just gobbledygook on your screen.
I'm not picking up anything one way or the other. Do we have time for first aid? Pain pills if people need them?
Sure.
Um,
Oh, one other thing inside, there are no bodies or anything inside. There's just this empty hallway and these slanted floors. Okay.
Okay, so with the first aid, can you, like, I do have the first aid ability. Can I apply that on myself?
Sure.
Okay. I think I will try that because I mean I both have a little bit of damage as well as the anticoagulant.
So what you might want to do mechanically, since you and Svetlana both have it, is you could be like, she could be helping you. She could be like giving you first aid, and you could be aiding her.
Okay.
That will kind of allow her to make the roll because I know her intellect is a lot better than yours.
Right.
And then, but then you get the advantage because of the assistance.
Okay.
So Svetlana, go ahead and make a intellect check using your first aid, which is what, a +10 skill, and roll at advantage.
I have pathology now at expert level. Would that help us identify what's going on?
Yeah, I think that would apply. Yeah, this is sort of a weird foreign anticoagulant of some sort. Okay, so you got that success on the second roll. Great. So you stop that bleeding on Vadim.
Anybody need any pain pills or stim pack? I think Svetlana is maybe going to slam a stim pack again.
Kirill would take a stim pack.
And I think I'll use one of my stim packs.
Okay.
And yeah, I think snacks. I'm going to use just one of my pain pills.
Okay. So let's do snacks. That's the easy one. So just roll D10, and that's how much hit points you heal.
So that's a 10.
Great. Let's see. Snacks took a pain pill. Okay, and the other three guys, you're all taking a stim pack. So a stim pack, what you do is you roll 2d10, and that's how many extra temporary hit points you're going to have. That also will be how many points of strength and what's the other, combat that you will have for d10 hours. So let's roll the two. Each of you roll that 2d10 first. And the temporary hit points, I'm not sure how I would do that. Maybe like for Vadim, he has 41 hit points with a 64 maximum. Maybe like put the temporary hit points in parentheses after your regular health. And then when you take damage, take it out of that parentheses hit points, if you follow what I'm saying. And then for the strength and combat, if you put that number that you rolled in the modified column, it should add it to your strength and combat, the total.
The one thing I don't okay, I don't see how to add the hit points. What you're saying?
I think what I would do. So you see where it says your health and it says 41, and you rolled what? 10. Okay, so what I would do is just after the 41, just put in parentheses 10 if it'll let you.
No, it doesn't let me.
I was able to do it. It looks like an error, but it did keep it.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like I could do it, although it does look, you're right, it does look like an error. And when I look at yours, Svetlana, it has nothing in the health thing, so I don't think it works. Okay. So I would just keep track of it on a piece of paper then. Just go back to put the 41 in that you originally had, Vadim.
And I have 10 that'll come off first.
Yeah,
right?
and you just keep track of that somewhere on a piece of paper or something.
I mean, you could probably keep track of it in the credits spot. I mean, we're not really using that.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, wherever works for you guys is fine with me. And it looks like you each understand the strength in combat part. So now,
one other thing that I'm going to do while we're doing this is I'm going to change into my advanced battle dress.
okay. So you take off your grungy, muddy, messed up standard battle dress, and you pull out this shiny, high tech, semi powered, advanced battle dress. It probably sounds the hydraulics, and you probably twist parts on. It's like battle, it's hardcore battle armor. So, okay, that will change your armor. So if you go to currently your mod on your armor, Vadim, is 10. That's your standard battle dress, and the advanced battle dress gives you plus 15.
So just add another 5 to that.
That's right. Now, each of you that took these stim packs also roll a d10. That's how many hours it's going to last. And just kind of scribble that down too. I'll leave you guys to remind me if we get to a point where you use it up. So Josh is lasting forever. The other guy's 2 or 3 hours. So just keep that in mind as we go along. I think I'll scribble that down. So Vadim, stim pack, 2 hours. Svetlana, 3. And Kirill, 10. Okay. The only other thing you might want to do, Vadim, is do you want to try to unjam your weapon?
Yeah, I think I'll make that attempt.
Okay. So this weapon you have is a pulse rifle. It's it's called an AK-47. So it's a future version of the AK-47, which historically is famous for being incredibly rugged, able to tolerate being wet and dirty. So you can make this roll at advantage because of the weapon you have. So what the roll you're going to make is...
I did pick up mechanical repair. I don't know if that'll...
Yep, absolutely. You're going to make, I think it would be, we'll call it a sort of a speed type thing, so kind of like using your reflexes, or I think that would probably be the best fit. So you're going to make a speed roll at advantage using whatever the advantage is for mechanical repair.
Which I think plus 10 is what that is.
Okay. Okay.
So it's the failure, right?
Yeah. So you don't ruin your weapon at least, but it's badly jammed. Maybe a part needs some replacing, or to take it out and to do some filing or machining even. So you're going to need to find some sort of workshop, mechanical repair workshop of some sort, some tools to be able to fix it. Okay. So it remains jammed for now. Anything else you guys want to do before you move along? Have you each moved inside and out of the outside area into the little hallway at this point?
I think for the most part. Just one quick question. With those bodies outside, did they have any weaponry or anything on them? The ones that were...
No, there were no guns. There was you know what? Actually, make a scavenge roll. Anybody else looking around too? Make it a roll with advantage if somebody else wants to assist. Scavenging bodies.
I'll assist.
Okay, so we'll call that a scavenging is a speed roll. You're going to roll with you have your scavenging skill, I believe. So you're going to roll at advantage on this.
Should just one of us roll?
Yeah, so I think you called it out, and then Kirill's or Snacks is helping you. So why don't you go ahead and roll, Vadim? Okay. Speed roll at advantage. Success. Okay. So there's actually a table here. I'm going to have you roll on. I'm glad to be able to use this table. If it'll let me. Hold on. It does this to me sometimes. If Roll20's been sitting open for a while, it won't let me open it. So I need to drop from Roll20 and come back in. So I'm going to drop real quick and come back. Let me look up too while I'm doing that. Okay, so there's now a handout, Vadim, called Scavenge Table. Do you see that? It's below Fireside Chat, above Advantage and Disadvantage.
Okay, yep. Mm-hmm.
So you, because you roll, you get to roll twice on this table. So you're going to roll percentage dice. So just /R D100. And you got...
You said roll twice?
Yeah. So you got an 11 and a 98. So the 11, you found a liter of water. And the 98, which is a real nice roll, you found a flamethrower with 2 magazines.
So I take one of those or both of those?
You both.
Okay.
If Svetlana has a chance while they're scavenging, I'm just going to reload my wrist gun and SMG.
Sure. Yeah, I'll assume you guys all reload. So you got a liter of water and flamethrower, 2 magazines. Josh, does it say how many shots are in a magazine for a flamethrower? I can look it up too real quick.
I believe it is 8 shots in the magazine.
Yeah. So it's a flamethrower with 24 shots because it's loaded and then it has 2 extra magazines. Okay, so there you guys are. You've done some healing, tried to fix a gun, dug around in some nasty dead bodies, found some good stuff. Here's the creatures you guys fought. And what next? Actually, as you move in then, what I'd like you each to do is make another sanity check for me. That feeling of misery and loneliness is getting worse. So Kirill, everybody except for Svetlana missed. Okay. Okay, so Snacks and Kirill, you also start to feel agitated and snappy and irritable. Everybody's feeling that. But in addition, Vadim, you've missed it twice now. So you feel, you hear in your mind as you're digging through these bodies, you keep hearing this whispering, and you look around to see if it's one of your companions that's doing it, but they're not. They're just talking amongst themselves or taking pills or whatever they're doing. And you realize it's the voice of a little girl. It's a little girl's voice talking to you. And as you look over at the others, she whispers to you criticisms and faults of the others. What does she say about Snacks? What does the little girl say to you about Snacks?
She says, I can't believe that you would even allow Snacks to be part of this party, that his inexperience and lack of focus is just immediately apparent. And, the idea of him kind of coming on such a, dangerous mission when he's so untested is just obviously absurd at this point.
And what does she say about Svetlana?
Well, says Svetlana may seem intelligent, but when it comes to the intelligence required to succeed in the field, she clearly is beyond her depth, and that we've already seen ample evidence of this. Kind of points to suggest that, right, the latest bioscan says Svetlana may kind of say that, oh, it's because of the static that she couldn't get a good reading, but that's clearly operator error in terms of operating that bioscanner.
And what does she whisper about Kirill?
Well, she says you really had the beat on Kirill from the get-go. That Kirill is obviously going to betray the mission at the earliest possible opportunity. She says, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that this whole thing is just a setup, and Kirill is just kind of leading us to our doom.
And as you guys continue on, just keep imagining her. She's going to whisper whenever they do something or say something. She's always got this comment, this criticism of them. You can throw it in if you want, but you guys just imagine, that Vadim, you got this little voice talking to you as you go along. Okay, so back to where you guys were. What's your next step?
Vadim says we may have to go down, but before that, I think it may be safest for us to investigate the upward path.
Is there a card swipe or anything on the blast doors?
You can see that there is a pad sort of to the side. You're kind of, you're a little bit back, but you do see that there's a red light, so you can tell that generally means it's at least locked. But there is, a swipe pad there.
And both ways have a door, is that correct? Like they're these big
the going up just has sort of like plain normal doors.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like, as far as you can tell, you could just open them. The ones going at the down slant has like this huge blast door that's dropped down, and like Brad was asking, there's like some sort of security pass you need to get inside, and it's blinking red right now, which suggests it's locked.
Maybe through the double doors we can find a way to get this blast door open.
Kirill would actually, I think, like to go down the steps to see if the red keypad, red terminal is something that he might be able to hack into.
Okay. So you go down. You have the key card you took from the dead guy. Do you want to try that just to see if it opens the door?
Yes.
Yeah. So you swipe it, and it gets a and and it says, there's a readout that says access denied. security lockdown, contact operational staff for access. If you want to, you can probably, get out some tools and kind of try to take the pad off and try to hack it or mechanically, open it. Certainly you can try that.
Yeah, so I have computers, and I also have a lockpick set, which is a set of tools for locking electronic door systems.
Okay.
So I think Kirill would like to get into the administrative access and override this door lock.
Okay. So this is a very difficult task. So I'm going to have you roll with disadvantage. But you do get to add, what is it, plus 15 for your tools?
It's plus 10 for the tools, and it would also be plus 10 for computers. If that doesn't stack, that is fine.
That's right.
Yeah, and I don't know if it makes a difference, but Snacks has computers, hacking, and engineering. Like, I don't know if that could help out at all.
Yeah. Hacking would probably be a better skill than computers for this. This is going to be a intellect check. So you guys, what do you think your best shot is? You could definitely work together. It's disadvantaged because it's hard, but if someone helps you, you'll get advantage. So they'll cancel each other out. So you'll make a standard roll. And it's a matter of, is it going to be better for Snacks to roll with hacking, or is it going to be better for Svetlana to roll with computers? It's a matter, and this is going to be an intellect check.
So I have intellect at a 46 plus 10, 56.
Yeah, so I think narratively that makes more sense for you to be doing the work and, having this stupid runt hacker kid sitting there kind of telling you, oh yeah, go for that spot, now that spot. And so, yeah, if you want to go ahead and take the roll with your int, that okay. Makes sense.
So go ahead.
While this is going on, I think that Vadim would certainly have his flamethrower at the ready in case something comes barreling out of that door.
Okay. I will also tell you that it has on the wall next to this big blast door, this area, it has sort of like painted on the wall or designating in an arrow pointing that way. And it says labs. And then another line that says hangar. So labs and hangar seems to be in that direction. So make that intellect check, Svetlana, using your computers. Wow, I was going to say you would need a critical success to do this, and there it is. All right, so you pull your tools out. You use what information the card that you got helps you to kind of figure out what buttons you need to push and what wires you need to cut, and you do it, and it says command staff override accepted. It turns green, and this big hydraulic, loud hydraulic sound starts, and this big blast door goes up. You now have access to the sub level, and you see on the wall, just inside, there's a map of the sub level. So let me show you that. Here you guys are over here. Ramp and blast doors, just tower subfloor. And you now see this map of the subfloor. There's a long hallway in front of you. There's a couple big doors. There's a door at the end of the hallway. This hallway is covered in, not covered, but there are probably half a dozen dead people lying on the ground. Several of them sort of have like lab coats on, like scientist coats. They clearly, one guy's got like a knife stabbed through his back. One guy, has, it looks like something has like torn or eaten his head off. There is another guy lying. There's two guys lying in the middle of the floor. It looks like they've shot each other. The bodies are not fresh. The lab itself is probably pretty sterile, so there's not a lot of rot that's happened, but you can tell that this violence happened a while ago. What would you like to do?
Vadim, first of all, says, I'm impressed. I had hardly any faith that you all would be able to kind of make it through the door, but bravo. And Vadim looks at the map and says, well, frankly, I'd like to get out of this hellhole, and I think we should make that hangar our priority to see if there's still a usable ship there that could get us out of this place, or perhaps at least the ship might have some communication that could make some contact.
Svetlana agrees and is going to try the bioscan again to see if we're down a level, if it is any better.
Sure. You guys moved in then a little bit, and I want you to make everybody make another sanity check for me. Okay, so what do we got here? Robert succeeded. Vadim succeeded. Kirill, remember too, when you fail these, you gain a point of stress. Because Svetlana failed a sanity check, everybody gains a point of stress for that also. So if you miss the roll, you gain a point of stress, and if you're not Svetlana, you get another point of stress. So Kirill and Svetlana. Kirill and Svetlana. All of you, by the way, moving down into here, it's that sadness and loneliness and misery. It's piercing. Your head hurts. The feeling is so intense. Your blood pressure's up. It's really powerful here. Kirill and Svetlana, you also start to hear this little girl's voice talking in your mind, criticizing, picking at your teammates. I won't have you talk about each one of them, but I'll let you pick out one of your other, just to rub it in. Which one of your teammates is she criticizing, and what's she saying, Svetlana?
She's pointing out to me some of Vadim's weirdness, some of the prayer and meditation practices that he's adopted, and how unusual that seems. Why would a combat leader need to be meditating and stuff in the field like that? Stuff like that.
Okay. And Kirill, what is she saying to you, and about who?
I think Kirill is also having doubts about Vadim. I think he's starting to feel that Vadim is more, he's getting whispers that Vadim cares more about himself than anyone else on this mission, and that Vadim is worried only with his own safety in the moment. And that, just stuff like that.
Okay. So you guys intend to make your way towards the hangar then? Any other alternate plans, or any complaints? Or is that what you're going to do? Okay. So you make your way down this hallway, stepping over these bodies. There's a door at the end of the hallway that, you push a button and it slides open. It's not locked or anything. You enter another hallway. You walk down through here, and you get to about here. I'll move your little token, and you can all feel that misery, loneliness it's like a wave of it coming from down in here somewhere, from this direction, through this door. You can feel this emotional misery emanating from back in there somehow or somewhere. Keep going or stop.
And the door is closed.
Yeah. Again, though, it looks like you would just push a button and it should open.
Yeah, I am, Vadim, I think, just keeps motioning the company to keep moving forward.
Okay. And you probably, thankfully, want to get away from this. So you move away. It's still super intense, but not as intense as it was in that spot. You keep going. You keep going. Another door at the end of this hallway. You open that up, and there's another long hallway here. And the next door, on the door on the side, it says hangar. And it's big door. It's a big solid door, but again, it doesn't look to be locked. You should be able to just push a button and it'll open. You go in the hangar.
I will. I think we are going to go in there, but Vadim will pause and tell everybody to be prepared. So because say be prepared for something on the other side, and I think we'll ask Svetlana to do get right next to that door with the bioscanner and see if she gets a ping.
I forgot about that, Svetlana. Go ahead and make that roll. This will cover having it on all the way through this whole walking through this complex, okay? And I'm going to say you're far enough away from the radar and communication interference that was above, so you can go ahead and make this roll at advantage. So make a biology roll with intellect at advantage. Okay. So there, you picked up, as when you got to about back here, there is some sort of reading back in here, some sort of life reading. And then when you get to this door, there are quite a few life readings that you're picking up. With the range, you can read to about halfway into the building, into the hangar deck, according to the map. But you do pick up 3 readings. Okay.
I'm seeing multiple readings on the other side of the hangar door. I think we passed maybe one of the mamas or a bigger enemy in the hallway, so we may need to watch from behind. There's definitely some signs of life on the other side of the door.
All right. Vadim, I think, is going to... I mean, one advantage we have is that we have this doorway, and if there are more of those kind of creatures, they may not be super smart. So I think we could certainly, we won't be surrounded by them. And I think that these flamethrowers we have should be fairly effective. What I'm going to suggest, and part of this would be kind of using my knowledge of kind of tactics, would suggest, okay, we're gonna kind of open the door and be ready with who else has the flamethrower? It's also Kirill. You have a flamethrower?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the 2 of us should be ready with the flamethrowers and be in a good kind of tactical position that if things kind of come after us, we'll just kind of blast them in the doorway.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
I'm going to suggest also, like in setting this up, say snacks. Keep an eye on our rear, and if you kind of hear or see anything coming down that hallway, be prepared to take care of them.
Yeah, so I'll have my shotgun and kind of covering our backside.
Okay. So I see the Kirill and Vadim up front, and then Svetlana kind of behind them, and then Snacks in the back watching the rear. That's what we got. And there are lights in here too. There's, imagine a bright, clean, sterile, science lab is kind of what you've been moving through. Big, wide hallways, tall hallways. So there's this big door here. Vadim, you punch the button to open the door.
Yeah.
Okay, so it opens up into this large hangar. And I got a picture of this to give you a feel for it. There's a spacecraft in the middle there. And, there's, kind of like drums of fuel and whatnot, and little trucks for loading and unloading and fueling kind of scattered about. These doors are there. They're shut right now. The big hangar doors that would go to the outside. But you don't, it's fairly dark in here. There's a lot of dark nooks and crannies, and that would include the spots that Svetlana estimates where these readings were that she picked up. So you don't see anything, and nothing runs at you or anything when you open the door. It's quiet. There's not even any dead bodies or anything in here.
And there's a ship in there.
There is a ship. Yep. On your map, it's this thing in the middle.
And it looks intact.
It looks intact. And like the gangplank is down. You could walk over and go up into the ship. Maybe there's a door you'd have to open or something, but it certainly looks intact and approachable.
Roughly where are like the dark spots, like where I would estimate the life readings would have been?
You kind of look over Svetlana's shoulder, and she kind of points out, it looks like here, here, and here. And there's like piles of boxes or something in each of those areas, or just a particularly dark little area, or even up high above, there's a lot of darkness. And I'm going to say her, I don't know, have we established it works in 3D, or is it sort of a 2D sort of thing? Does it tell you like levels? Have we established that or not? I don't recall.
I don't think we've established that either way. Yeah.
I'll say it does, though. So you can tell that some of these things, whatever these things are, some of them are like elevated up in like in the rafter, so to speak.
Okay. All right. So would I assess if I dropped a frag grenade in this corner where I think there was one? What would the ship be out of range of any explosion?
I think frag grenade has a 15 or 20 meter radius, something like it's one or the other. Either any of, if you could, let's say this one here appears to be at ground level. Maybe it's you guess it's probably back behind some boxes, and it's at ground level. So if you look over here, you see our scale. That little line represents 30 meters. So it's well more than 20 meters away from the ship. So if you threw a grenade over there, it should not damage the ship.
Kirill, what do you think?
I think that
we could toss a grenade in there.
Kirill looks at Vadim and he goes, "I thought you were the lieutenant." Huh? I thought you made the decisions on this mission. Is that not what we have established?
And the little girl saying, "Look at him. He's just a child. I could do better than him."
I think that, Vadim growls, says, "You're a big help, Kirill." And
the little girl says to you, "Stab him. Kill him. You know what he's going to do. Kill him now."
Yeah, I think Vadim kind of shakes his head and looks down at the frag grenade. Is this a type of thing that I guess.
You have a grenade launcher on your pulse
Mhm.
rifle, which still works. The pulse rifle still, the grenade still work. The grenade launcher on the
Okay.
pulse rifle will still work. The actual, bullets won't work.
Right. So I think what I'll do is I'll load that up and best as I can, kind of take one last look at Svetlana's reading and kind of take a shot in that corner.
Okay. Let's make a combat check just to get it where you want it. So what we do is let's look under frag grenade. And on our map, that looks to be about 40 meters or so, I'll say. So that is long range. So what I want you to do is make a combat roll using firearms or military training, whichever one you have that's better. And you're rolling at disadvantage.
All right. Well, let's see. So I could like move in a little bit to get it maybe at least to medium range.
Yeah. So you kind of wander in a little bit. Okay. So that way you make a combat check at -10. So you're getting +10 for military training. So if you just make a combat check at +0, I think that'll cover it.
Okay.
It's such a controlled shot. You're probably going to hit it regardless. It's just a matter of how much damage it's going to take, really. Okay, so you fail. Mark off a grenade.
Mm-hmm.
So you shoot this grenade over there. It bounces. It kind of clanks against one of these boxes and kind of rolls off into the corner a little bit more than you wanted. So it explodes. A bunch of boxes are destroyed. And one of those hybrid creatures that you fought last time is back in there, and it kind of shrieks and it clatters, and gets blasted. It's going to take the damage, so it's 1d10 underline, which means it's 1d10 times 10. So go ahead and roll that. I'm going to make an armor save at advantage just because your shot wasn't right on target. So that's 60 damage, and then it's going to make, like I said, an armor save at advantage. And it succeeded. So it's going to take half damage. Okay. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to make a roll to see if you surprise them, because you guys, potentially got a surprise on them with sneaking up on them, so to speak. So I'm going to make a roll for them on that. Let me roll. And you did. So the monster is not going to be able to go on the first round. One moment. Let me make another roll. And what I want you guys to do now is make, you're gonna roll for initiative. So that is a speed roll. So you roll your speed. Vadim, you have your advanced battle dress on, so it's kind of awkward. So you make your speed rolls at disadvantage. So you're gonna roll at disadvantage on this, but you have tactics. So with tactics, you get a roll at plus 15 on your speed check for initiative, and you can give that advantage to one other team member. Who would that be?
As much as I hate to do it, I'm going to give it to Kirill.
Okay.
But that makes the most sense too, because he was the one I think most, equipped right here on the point.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and make those rolls if you didn't already.
So I'm rolling plus 15, but at disadvantage, correct?
That's right, because your armor is so bulky.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see. Kirill, did you roll speed check?
No, I did not. Sorry.
Go ahead and do that. Okay, so Snacks and Kirill are going to go, then the creatures, then the other two guys. Okay? I'll scribble that down. So Kirill and Snacks, then creatures, then the other two. And as I said, you surprise them. So in the first round, these things are not going to be able to do anything. So Snacks and Kirill, you guys can go in any order you want. What do you guys want to do?
Well, Kirill is at the door, so
Yep.
he's probably going to step into the hangar proper. Where exactly are the shorts on
Oh,
this?
let me. I'll show you the one you saw. There you go. There's the one that you just blasted, or Vadim just blasted.
Okay. Yeah. So Kirill,
And you saw Svetlana. You don't see them, but you saw also on Svetlana's screen that you saw that there was one here, or something here, and something there.
Okay. Yeah. So then Kirill is going to step into the room and, if I can, shoot this one with my flamethrower.
Okay. Let's look at the range of a flamethrower. Max range is 20 meters. So you can move. What's your speed? You can move half your speed in a movement.
My speed is 28.
28. So you can move 14 meters. I'm going to say you probably cannot get to it with just one move. So maybe what you could do is do both moves towards it, and then because it's surprise, you'll get another chance, next round.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so you can go 28 meters. You're probably about 15 meters away from it. We'll put you about there. And Snacks, you're watching the rear. Nothing's back there. Anything you want to do?
I mean, not really. I think I'm just kind of backing toward the door, just keeping guard on the rear
Okay.
with my gun pointed down the hallway.
Okay. And like I said, the creature is stunned or surprised, so it doesn't do anything. And then Vadim and Svetlana, you guys can take your actions.
So I'm assuming that if I did another grenade, that Kirill would be in the blast area.
It would be real close. Let's look at that again. Frag grenade. All within 15 meters, and I think did I just say you were about 15 meters away from it? So
Yeah.
yeah. I will say that you can, aim it so that it hits it, but not Kirill. But if you get a critical failure, that's going to be an easy way for me to figure out what happened.
Okay. Yeah, I think I will try another frag grenade in there.
Okay. So you are.
And I get 2 actions. So, like, could I take one for an aim and then?
That's exactly what I was going to suggest. So you're about 30 meters away, which is, we said it was medium range.
Mhm.
But if you take one action to aim and then you let loose, you're going to roll at advantage. You're going to, your military training and the range modifier cancel each other out. So you're just making a combat check, but you're rolling twice and taking the best result.
Okay. And do I get any pluses?
You got the +10 for military training, but then you got -10 because it's medium range.
Okay.
So they cancel each other out.
So I'm just 0.
0, yeah. Just roll on 0 twice. Okay. So you got a success. It lands right where you wanted it. Roll a d10 and multiply it by 10. That's how much damage you're doing. $50 damage. I'm going to make an armor save for these things. It succeeds, so it takes half damage, but that is still enough to kill it. So you just blasted it. It's chunks. Mark off a grenade. And Svetlana, what would you like to do? You don't see any bad guys at this point, but you still see it, beeping on your screen.
I think I can move 13 meters, so I'd like to move into the hangar, but to the right of the store.
Over here?
So in the opposite direction, and see if my headlamp is going to catch the beast or whatever that's nearest to me now.
Okay.
Do I see anything?
Yeah,
more?
I like that. Make a speed check. Critical failure. It's low stakes kind of thing. So the critical failure is only going to be that as you're moving into the room, looking for this thing, you trip over a box and you fall prone. Okay. So you're just on the ground there and you don't see anything. Okay. We go to the top of the next round then. And Kirill and Snacks, you don't see any targets, but according to Svetlana, there's at least 2 more out there. What do you do?
So this is like a concrete building. What is this building made out of?
It's underground, so it's built into the rock, and it's lined probably with reinforced concrete. Let's look at our picture and let's see if it gives us any clues. Yeah, that looks like steel or reinforced concrete to me.
Okay. So never mind that then. I think Kirill is going to start heading towards the ship that stops in the hangar.
Okay.
Keeping his eyes up.
What's your speed again? 28, is that what it was?
Yes.
All right. So if you use both actions, you're going to move 28 meters into the room. Let me get you back there. 28 meters is about to... Well, I'll tell you. You see my little scale there, that little line. Move about that length to where you want to go. You should be able to drag your little token, right? There you go. Yep. That looks perfect. Okay. And you are looking around, so I'll have you make a speed check, just like we had Svetlana make a speed check.
Yeah.
To see if you spot anything.
Would military training add anything to that?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
Success.
You see, starting to move out of the darkness above on the wall, you see another one of these things. And more troubling is you see there's up in the dark of the ceiling, there's a bunch of webs, and you see descending from it one of the huge things. Looks like the mother chort. Remember her?
Yeah.
And she's descending from the up in those webs. Get back to this mother chart. There she is. Oops, that's not right. Oh, there she is. Okay, mother chart. Okay. And Snacks, what would you like to do?
I mean, everybody else is in the room or in the hangar now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would back my way in and shut the door behind me.
Okay.
So that way we're all in here.
Okay. All right. Now the bad guys get to go. So this one is going. Oops. Okay. This one's going to scuttle down the wall, and it runs up to you, Kirill. It can't quite move enough to reach you and attack, though. That's the good news.
Could you switch back to the map?
Oh, sorry. Another one climbs down the wall over here and crawls up to. It doesn't quite reach you, Svetlana, but it's pretty close. The mother chort looking one. Just checking how fast it moves. Okay. It finishes descending on some sort of webs down to the ground, and then it scuttles similarly. It's not quite to you, but it's moving your direction, Kirill. And a few others come around. There are a few other farther in come out too. There's one that's back in some boxes. There's one that was sort of back behind in front of the ship. And there's another one way back. And they start to scuttle their way towards you. Okay. That's it for the bad guys. Who's next? Vadim and Svetlana. It takes an action to get up, Svetlana.
Yeah, I think Svetlana first is gonna take a shot with her wrist gun at the one that's closest to her before she gets up.
Okay. So you're gonna roll. That looks about 10 meters or so. So that should be short. We'll call it short range. So you're going to make a combat check. Did you get firearms? I think you did.
I did.
Yeah. Yep. So click that plus 15 button on combat. Oh no, you guys get a lot of 99. So maybe something's wrong with the random number generator. I don't know. But oh geez, critical failure on that. Let's see. You're laying on the ground. Oh, I know what happens. You blast it, and you miss, obviously, and you smash some boxes, and the force of the boxes you destroy pushes over several barrels and fuel starts to leak out onto the ground in here. Okay, so there's fuel starting to leak across the floor. That'll create a little obstruction. Let's see if I can create that on here. Freehand, draw a shape. Let's draw a shape. What color is fuel? Kind of a yellow, maybe? Let me get my thing out of the way first. I think it might not surprise you, but the drawing tool in Roll20 is not the best. Okay. All right, it's not perfect, but that's what we have. Okay, so that's your first action. What do you want to do with your second action?
I think I just need to get up off the ground and.
Yeah. Okay, Vadim, what would you like to do?
Could I what's going through my mind is using the flamethrower, and the one that there's one of these that's now in some fuel, right?
Yeah.
And that might even accentuate the effect of the flamethrower.
Sure.
I mean, so could I kind of move in a position to try to do the flamethrower?
Sure. What's your speed?
My speed is 27.
Okay, so half of that's 13, so you can move about 13 meters, which would be about to here. And that'll put you about, looks like about 20 meters or so away from it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is max range. So you're going to make that roll. You're going to roll at disadvantage. But unless you get like a critical failure, you're probably automatically going to light up that fuel.
Mm-hmm.
But whether you hit the creature or not is really the roll. That's what the roll is going to determine. Okay. So make a combat check at disadvantage. You get to use your military training.
Okay. So I had a success and one failure.
Yeah. Okay, so you miss the creature, but you do light up the fuel. It's going to take 1d10 underlying damage. So go ahead and roll a d10, and we'll multiply it by 10. 90 damage. So even if it makes its armor save, it's half dead. If you guys remember, the way they do monsters in this is they have hit pools, and each hit can only kill one of the pools. So you killed one of the pools on that creature. Let me just mark that is hybrid number 6. Okay. In addition, the flame, it engulfs, it erupts up. The creature, I think I will roll to see. I'm going to have, like, similar to how a flamethrower works, you have to make a body save or you get caught on fire. So I'm going to make that roll for it too. If it misses this, it's going to be on fire, but it made it. So it's not on fire. It avoids the fire somehow. It avoids getting caught on fire at least. The fire is kind of like snaking its way back to the barrel that the fuel is leaked from. So there may be an explosion sometime soon. Back in here. And Vadim, I think that's it for you. Svetlana went, so now we're back to the top of the round with Kirill and Snacks. Kirill, you're real close to this thing that looks like a mother chort. It's nasty and horrible, but it it's not emanating any of that foggy psychological energy that the other one had, that such, so powerfully. You don't feel any of that. You still feel in the background of just the excitement of the battle. You still feel that misery, that loneliness that you felt before, but it's coming from back deeper in the labs, not from this creature.
Okay.
So Kirill and Snacks, go ahead. What would you guys like to do?
I suppose that I will take my flamethrower and probably attack each of these, each of the chores in front of me once.
Okay.
Yeah, take one shot on both.
Sounds good. Which one would you like to attack first?
I'm going to attack the mother short first.
Okay. So that is, what's the range on a flamethrower? It's more than 2 meters, but less than 10. So we'll call it medium range. So you're rolling at -10. I think you have firearms.
I do have firearms.
So what we'll do, why don't you just roll at -10 for range, but then +15 for firearms. There's not a +5 button, so just push the +10 button and we'll adjust accordingly. Okay, so you miss the mother chort with the flame, and you miss the small one too. So mark off some ammo.
Yeah.
And Snacks, what would you like to do?
Am I close enough to hit anything with my shotgun at this point?
Max range of the shotgun is
It's 30.
30. Combat shotgun, 10, 20, 30. Okay. Yeah, you could hit the one that's over here in the flames. It would probably be a medium range shot right now.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and take that shot.
Okay. Keep in mind, if you want to aim, then you can roll with advantage. If you take one action to aim, then you can roll with advantage. Or you can just take a shot and then have another action to do something else. Or you can shoot twice.
Yeah, I'll do the aim.
Okay.
Because you said that one's already half dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I figure if I aim and hit, that's probably better off.
Okay. So same as what Kirill just did. You're rolling at medium range. Do you have firearms?
I do.
Okay. So you got the +15 for that, but then -10 for the range. So just roll on the +10 and you're rolling at advantage. So you roll twice. Great. So you hit and you roll, the shotgun's 2d10 underline. Is that what it does?
Yep.
Okay. So go ahead and roll that. Unless you roll real low, it's going to kill it. Okay. That kills it. Its armor can't even absorb that. So that one dies and burns up in the fire. And then the bad guys go. So Kirill is in some real trouble here. So this one's going to come up and attack you, and the large one's going to come up. This one 30. This one's going to run up get up to Vadim, but it can't attack this round. It's too far to run. This one's going to kind of run on the wall and get over here. It kind of avoids the fire by going up and over it. And it's kind of starting to come down the wall towards you, Svetlana, but it doesn't reach you. And similarly, this one can't quite reach anybody, but it runs over here. So the only two attacks this round are against Kirill. I'm going to roll the big thing first. It has a special attack. I'm going to roll that first. Kirill, I'll put your fate in your hand on the special attack. Roll a d10 for me. You probably want to roll high. Oh, that's real good. So it reaches out one of its claws, or one of its spiky claws, and it stabs the creature next to it, and it starts drinking fluids out of the small kind of hybridish looking version of itself. And the creature kind of screeches, but it doesn't resist. It just stands there and allows the big creature to suck these juices out of it. And it's going to do damage to it. $18 damage to the creature. It does have another attack, though, so it's going to try to claw at you. So let me roll that. It succeeds, and that does 2d10 damage. It does 10 damage. So remember to take that from those temporary hit points. Oh, make an armor save for half damage. Critical failure. All right, so you gain a stress. You take the full damage. Now, when you roll a critical failure on a save, you have to make a panic check. So that's where you go to your character sheet and you roll. Let me get your sheet up here. Click that panic check button. And as long as you roll over your current stress, you're okay. So you just did. You avoided panicking, and you get to remove a stress. Okay. Then the little creature is also going to attack you. And it tries to slash you with claws. And it misses. And that's it. Next up, Svetlana and Vadim.
I think Svetlana is gonna fire her submachine gun at the one on the wall here. It's
Okay.
closest, and just attack that twice.
Okay, so that's certainly point blank range. So that's short range. So roll your firearms, and why don't you do the first attack, and then you can do the second attack after that. Hit. Go ahead and make the other attack. It's going to take both to hit. Both hits will have to hit to kill it. So 2 hits, great. Roll your damage. What is it? 4d10?
Yep, that sounds
Okay.
right.
18.
You want me to roll that again?
Yeah. And 33. Wow. Okay. So that's going to kill one of its pools no matter what. No matter what I roll on armor. 9. Yeah. But it won't kill both pools. So hybrid 5. Mark off your ammo, and then who's Vadim?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try the flamethrower at the one that's close up to me and attack twice.
Okay. So that's point blank range. I think we established that the flamethrower isn't really good if like the creature is trying to melee you. So this is the situation where you can roll at disadvantage with it in front of you, or you can back off a little bit and then shoot it.
Yeah, let's try that. We'll try the backup and.
Okay, so we'll just move you back a couple meters, and then shoot away. So that's using your military training.
So plus 10.
Yeah.
So success.
Okay. So roll your damage. So that's 2d10 underlined.
So
Yeah.
140.
So that's going to kill one of its pools. Now it has to make a body save to see if it's on fire. It's not. So that's Vadim. Then we go to the top of the next round. All right, so at the end of the round, remember I said that the flame was getting back to that barrel? It explodes. So anything within 15 meters is going to take damage of that barrel, which I'm going to say is going to be the creature here. And it's going to do 1d10 underline. Only 10 damage. It gets to make a save to avoid some of that. It does not. So it takes 10 damage. That does not kill it, but it takes some damage from the explosion. Okay, then we go to the top of the round. Kirill and Snacks.
Kirill is probably going to try the same tactic.
What did you do? Shoot flamethrowers at them?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I didn't have you do it last time, but I should have you do the same thing as what I had Vadim do. Shooting with these things right in your face, you're going to have to roll at disadvantage unless you want to back off a little bit and then shoot it.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay, we'll back you off a few meters. And go ahead and shoot. Which one do you want to shoot?
I'm going to shoot at the mother.
Okay. So make your roll with firearms. Okay, that's a hit. And roll 2d10 underline for damage.
That's 60.
All right. And I have to make an armor save.
Yeah.
It fails, so it takes the full damage. Then I have to make a body save to see if it's on fire. It succeeds that, so it's not on fire. Or not on fire enough to damage it, put it that way. That's it for Kirill. Snacks?
Yeah, I'm going to try my shotgun again at the closest one, if there's one close enough.
Yeah, that looks about 10 meters or so. That's short range. So roll. Do you want to aim and shoot, or do you just want to shoot it?
I'm going to take 2 shots on it.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll with firearms then. Okay. Stop. Just do the one shot for now, because you might actually kill this with the one shot. So go ahead and roll your damage. 2d10 underlined. Yeah, that's going to do it. So you blast that one. And it is dead. So then you have another action.
I guess I'm going to move in closer to the mother so I can get a shot on her next turn.
What's your speed?
Speed is 44.
Okay, so you can move all the way to like about here. Maybe a little farther. All right. And then the bad guys get to go. So this one's going to crawl down the wall and attack Svetlana. This one's going to come around and attack Vadim. This one is going to, I'm going to spread the wealth. We'll have this one move up and attack Kirill, and we'll have the big one come at Snacks. So let's start with Vadim. Everybody's got an attack on them this round. Vadim. It misses. Snacks. I'll do the big one last. So Svetlana misses, and Kirill misses. Then the creature is attacking Snacks. So Snacks, roll a d10 for me to see what kind of special attack it does. And like I said before, you want to roll a big roll if you can. 1. It tries to slam you. It takes one of its big claws and tries to slam you. Let me see. All right. Let's see if it hits. It misses. You duck under it. And then it has a slash also. It critically fails on that. Wow. What would that be? I think it goes to it, like you duck, so then it has like a claw come down from above to try to like pierce right through you, and you move out of the way, and it slams right into the ground and pierces the hard reinforced concrete floor. So it's stuck to this spot. Okay. And that's it for the bad guys. Nothing bad happened to you guys. Svetlana and Vadim.
Svetlana's going to take one shot at the creature next to her, see if that'll be enough.
Okay. Just roll with plus 15 your firearms. That's a hit. And 4d10.
27.
27. Let me make an armor save. That might matter. It fails, and you kill it.
Then with my second move, I will move closer to the mother. My speed is 37.
Okay.
So I think I can get
Yeah,
up
move
next to Snacks, maybe not quite that close.
about there. You probably want to be out of the fire, so I'll put you right about there. Okay. And then we go to the top of the order, Kirill and Snacks.
I get my action.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And I think what I'll do is just still do the backup and shot at the one that's on me.
Okay. Alrighty.
And so...
you're just rolling with your military training.
Right.
That's a hit. And 2d10 underline. Okay. Even if I get an armor save, that's going to knock out one of its pools. Okay, so that one's half dead. Then we go to the top of the lineup with Kirill and Snacks. Snacks, we said the shotgun, you can go ahead and shoot at point blank range. You don't even have to back off if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shoot at the mother then.
Okay.
Since I'm right up on her.
All right, so just roll with your firearms. Hit. And it's not going to kill it. Do you want to do a second shot?
Yeah, I might as well.
Okay, go ahead and do that now then. Then we'll do the damage. Okay, so 2 hits. So roll 2d10 underline twice. 120 and 140. So that's going to knock out 2 of its pools. Those are some. So it's kind of like it can't move very much. So you're able to get right up in its body and blow huge chunks in it. Some nasty looking green slime comes pouring out. It looks be in pretty bad shape, but it's still alive. And that leaves us Kirill. You got one right in front of you, Kirill.
Yeah.
You can do the back off and then shoot, or you just shoot at point blank. Or you could aim and shoot.
Yeah. So I'm going. So aiming. What would aiming?
Aiming
do?
gives you advantage, so that would counteract the disadvantage for shooting at something right up in front of you.
Okay, and then I would just be rolling.
You would just be rolling firearms. Yeah.
All right. At the one that is in front of me.
Yep. Okay, so you missed. And you aim, so that's the end of your turn. Just a second. Huh. It's weird. Oh well. So now the bat creatures get to go. There's the mama and the 2. So this one's going to move up to Vadim. This one's going to attack Kirill, and this one's going to attack the mama's going to attack Snacks. So let's do the little ones first. So Vadim, it misses you. Kirill, it misses you. Then the big one, Snacks, once again, roll a d10 for me to see what kind of special attack it does against you.
Yeah, it's an 8.
Okay, so it reaches over with one of its long arms and starts to it stabs that arm into this one over here and sucks some juices out of it, and it's going to heal itself a little bit. 6 damage. Okay, and that one takes 6 damage. And then it'll slash at you with a claw. And it misses. Alrighty. That's it for the bad guys. Next up is Svetlana and Vadim.
Do you want to go first, Vadim?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll do my same backup and shoot it again.
Okay. Rolling the +10.
Right.
Nope, missed it. And Svetlana. This thing's big enough, you can probably shoot it from where you're standing if you want to shoot the mother, or you can shoot the one that's coming at Vadim.
I was thinking about moving and helping Kirill with the one that's on him.
Okay.
Am I going to be able to get close enough to get a shot in?
Yeah. You can move. You could what's your speed again? Like 40 something?
37.
So you can move like 18 meters to there. Yeah, you probably are obstructed right there. You'd probably have to you'd actually probably have to move right up to where the mother chort is to get a shot, I'm going to have to say.
Okay, that's fine.
You kind of move up. It's busy with Snacks, but it's right there beside you, and you try to get a shot at the one that's attacking Kirill. So go ahead and roll a regular roll with firearms, so +15.
Success.
Okay. And roll your damage.
Only 17.
Okay. If I miss this armor save, it'll kill it. Let's see. And I did, and it does. So you kill that one.
Jason, on the last round, when I hit it with the flamethrower, I don't think we made the saving throw on the one to see if it was
the body save.
Yeah.
Yeah, to see if it was on fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go ahead and do that then. It definitely is on fire. Is that the one you were shooting at?
Yeah, I missed it this one, but the previous one I got it with the
previous round.
Yeah.
Okay. So I should have rolled that damage, and it got a critical failure. So I'm going to say like your fire, crackled right up into like its mouth and like real tender parts of its body. So I'm going to say it's going to take double damage from that, which is almost guaranteed to kill it. What's number 3? Yeah, you already took out one of its pools. So roll roll a d10 for me to how much damage it does. This is multiplied by 10. Yeah, that's going to kill it. So that one is dead then. So I'll tell you what, that one should have died before your last turn. So you can redo that turn. So we'll go back.
I mean, I think what I would do then is, just
You were
I
standing.
mean, I guess I would have been trying to move myself in position for the mother chart.
To get the mother chart. Yeah. So you probably would have. What's your speed? 28? No, that was Kirill. What's your speed, Vadim?
Yeah. 27.
27. Okay. Yeah, you probably would have had to spend your turn like running over here.
27.
Yeah. So we'll say you ran over here then. How's that? You'd have to use your whole turn to get a good shot at it, though. Does that work for you? Looks like Robbie, you're either lagging or I'm lagging. You other guys, can you hear me all right?
Let me drop and try to come back.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so Kirill, Snacks, I think it's your turn. Or actually, no, wait, Svetlana went, Vadim went. Yeah, we go to the top of the order, Kirill and Snacks. All you got now is this big nasty in front of you.
I mean, yeah, I'll take 2 more shotgun shots at it.
Okay, go ahead.
Ooh, 2
No,
misses.
not this time.
My luck ran out.
Yeah. All right, Kirill, what do you want to do?
Yeah, so I'm going to take my last flamethrower shot in this magazine at the mother short.
Okay. Yeah, you're not right up on it, so you don't have to worry about the disadvantage. So you're just rolling. You can aim and shoot if you want, or just shoot.
I'm just going to shoot.
Okay. So roll with your firearms. Okay. And roll your damage, 2d10.
That is 120.
All right, so that's going to kill one of its pools for sure. Let me roll to see if it is on fire. It is. So it's on its turn. It's going to take 1d10 underline. Don't let me forget.
Yeah. And
second action?
So for my second action, the wrist gun.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for my second action, Kirill's going to let go of the flamethrower with whichever hand the wrist gun is mounted on, and aim that out and shoot it at the mother chort.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. That looks like, let's see, the combat shotgun, 10 meters. Yeah, that looks short range. So roll your firearms then. No, that missed. Okay. So now the creature can go, and it's got all kinds of targets here. I'm going to roll a die. I did say it can't move, but it does have pretty good range. It probably can reach out and hit any of you guys. So I'm going to just roll a random die, 1 to 4. Vadim is 1. Snacks is 2. Svetlana is 3. 2. Snacks, it's going to strike at you. Roll a d10 for what kind of attack it does with its special attack. A 4. A 4 is web. It shoots some web at you. You need to make a body save. You miss. So you are stuck to the ground. It knocks you to the ground and sticks you there. You're immobilized. Every turn, you can try to make a strength roll at disadvantage to break free. Other people can try to break you out of it, though, if they want. So Snacks is pinned. Then with its claw attack, it's going to attack someone different. It attacks Kirill, and it gets...
I think Svetlana was 3.
Well, I rolled a D3 that time because I already... Snacks was not going to be it. So
Gotcha.
It hit you. You're going to take 2d10 damage, Kirill. Make an armor save to take half. and you fail, so you gain a point of stress and you take 12 damage. How's your health, Kirill?
I am at 2 hit points.
Okay. And that's it for it. Svetlana and Vadim.
I think Vadim will go at it with the flamethrower.
Okay. So you're right up on it. Go ahead and roll. I mean, you're back a couple feet, so you don't have to roll at disadvantage. So roll your military training, combat plus 10.
You want me to shoot it again?
Yeah, because it's going to take 2 hits to kill it. I did say it was on fire, though, actually. So let me jump in the middle of your action here, and let me see how much damage it took from the fire. It took 30 damage from the fire. Let me make an armor save. It made it, so it took 15 damage. Yeah, go ahead and make the second attack. It's probably going to take both hits to kill.
Yeah, I did. I
got
rolled
2 hits?
successes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So roll 2d10 twice for damage.
So the first one is 90.
90.
And
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be it. All right, that killed it. So it's engulfed. It's got huge holes in it from shotguns. It's multiple flame blasts. It's burns. It collapses in a fiery mess in the back of the ship there. And you guys have successfully overcome these monsters. Let's go ahead and take a break for it's 9:51. Let's take 9 minutes. Let's go till 10, and then we will finish up. Okay. See you in 9 minutes. So you guys get going down to this level before you went upstairs. Being able to open those blast doors completely did everything backwards. Trying to think how I'm gonna have this work.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that's where we were supposed to head, but we had a good roll there.
Yeah. No, that's I mean, it's a classic GM thing. You try to be loose and try to like allow the players to go certain ways, but they always go the one way. You're like, oh, I can't see it going this way, and then they do. And I'm trying to run it like an OSR game, so I'm trying to be like, the world's created. Let the players go and do what they want. Like let the chips fly where they go, and so I think we'll do it that way. It's a much different result than I imagined, but it's all right. All right, Josh, you there?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So you guys have successfully killed these creatures. There's flames all over in this part of the hangar. And the H-14 spacecraft is undamaged, though. There it is. There's a gangplank that you can walk up into if you desire. What do you guys want to do?
I think Vadim will ask Svetlana to do a quick scan at that door down that long hallway. And I guess we should also the door to the hangar is closed, right? So we need to.
That's right.
Right. I think the picture showed is there like a pad that was next to the door?
No, but there's probably like I don't show it on the map, but let's say that there's like a little operator's room off to the side, maybe that where you would open those doors, kind of run the hangar from. So yeah, you can slip in there and see if you can open up the doors if you want. And what you discover is that similarly to the doors down to this sub-level, they're on security lockdown also. It says, contact operations for access. And it also tells you that the ship itself is also on lockdown, that, contact operations for launch codes.
If Svetlana goes up to the door that we came in at, is the bioscan still just showing the one far away? Can we tell if it's any closer?
No, it has 100-meter range, so you can pretty much, read to about the end of that hallway, and you're not picking up any bio readings. No, okay. You can't quite. It doesn't reach as far back as that, but in the range you have, you don't pick up anything.
Do you want me to head down that hallway alone and try to pick this thing up?
No, I think what we should do is, I mean, Vadim is interested in leaving, and we got a ship. If we can get those doors open and get the ship up, off of lockdown, we may be home free. But I think the first step. Let's maybe see first of all if we can get the ship unlocked.
Okay. So, somebody with hacking, computers, that kind of skills would definitely you would have to go up in the ship and have to like access the panels and try to get at the launch codes. You guys want to do that?
Yeah, that sounds like a good job for Snacks.
Okay.
Yeah, and now who else has like the hacking computer stuff? Is that also?
Creel doesn't have hacking, but you do have computers, right? So you definitely could assist.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the hacking is kind of the necessary skill for this. So Snacks is going to lead the way on this.
Okay.
But certainly, Creel could help out. While it's going to take a few minutes for them, probably at least, to sort this out. The other two, we know Svetlana was over here, and let's imagine Vadim was over here in sort of the control room that I was talking about.
I think what Vadim will do is be at the ready with his flamethrower, and I'll say, Svetlana, let's keep scanning the area in case there's anything we haven't picked up, or in case something is approaching.
Yes, sir.
So, Snacks and Creel go up into the ship, and this looks like a really expensive, modern design, small interstellar ship. It has the ability to use faster than light travel. It doesn't have any significant weaponry or anything, but it's a fast, expensive, high-tech ship. So you go, to the front end of the bridge, and you get under, and you start pulling wires and start figuring out you're going to do this. And the view screen comes on, the communication screen comes on, and a man appears on the screen, and he looks like this. Where is he? Here he is. This guy. And he looks like this. He's got the markings of a general of the Space Operating Forces. And he looks a little haggard, though. He looks pretty ruddy and pretty tough here, but he looks a little run down and haggard, tired, pale. Looks like he's lost weight. But he's still got a very smart uniform on. And you can see that he's sitting at a control panel in a chair and talking to you. And he says, it's probably Creel standing there. Snacks is kind of under the desk. You hear this voice, though, and Creel, he sees you, and he says, Commissar Creel, I've been reading your file. My name is General, what is his name? General Orlov? Is that right? General Sokolov. General Yuri Sokolov, commanding officer of Lysenko Station. You and your team are very resourceful. I did not expect anyone to be able to get past my security lockdowns. I see that you're trying to power up the ship. What are your intentions? Where do you intend to go, Commissar?
Of course, General Sokolov. I was not aware that, with all due respect, sir, that you had survived. The situation outside was grim, and I thought it in the best interest of myself and the small team I have on the ground here to find a way to evacuate and inform the party as a whole, as our communications long range are unfortunately not functioning. Where are you located in the compound? Is this... Well, of course, you are a good man. You are a member of the party. You believe in the ideals. Please tell me what I can do to help you, sir.
Commissar, I do not need your help. My orders are to secure the assets until the ministry forces arrive and take them into custody and remove them from this dangerous situation. Tell me, do you and your team know what this facility has been doing, what our mission has been?
With all due respect, General, it is not my place to know. It is certainly not my team's.
And have you interacted with the creatures, the hybrids?
If that is what you call them, then yes, we have. In the hangar, there were several that we had to fight our way through, and we have met them outside of the base as well. They've infiltrated the jungle. The supply ship, I do not know how much you know, of course, General. The supply ship in the lake is compromised, and creatures have appeared to have escaped from there.
And the ship itself, is it still intact?
The ship, anything within meters of it, vaporized. I made sure of that. It was orders from the commissar about me.
What is the name of this commissar that gave you that order?
I was ordered by the regional chief commissar Petrovich, sir.
He says, "I know just the person you speak of." Well, I have to say you've done well, Commissar. The events, I cannot tell you any more of what's happened at this base or on this planet. Can you guarantee that you and your team will not release what you've seen and what you've done here on this planet to the space operating forces? This information must be secure, must be told only to the ministry itself. Can you guarantee that, Commissar?
I can guarantee that I will not let any information out. If you will allow me to introduce you to the military lieutenant who is who is the uniformed officer in control of this mission, perhaps you may persuade him. I attempted to inform him and my teammates that what they saw on this planet was, in all likelihood, before I knew the entirety of the story, restricted information to higher ups in the party. They did not take it well. It might do well for them to see a man such as yourself, of great stature and of great respect like yourself, to tell them. Perhaps they might take it seriously. If not, I will inform the regional chief commissar immediately upon landing.
Call the lieutenant to the screen. Vadim, call him to the screen. I wish to speak with him.
Of course, sir. Kirill, I think, so Kirill walks out of the ship where I guess Vadim is probably waiting. And he goes, "The general would like to speak to you."
What general are we talking about?
General Yuri Sokolov, the man in charge of Lysenko Station.
Okay. Is he at this station right now, or is he
in the ship?
He's on a ship?
He's not in the ship. He was on a screen. He came up on a screen when you guys were inside the bridge of the ship. He's did he say that I think he said he was in operations. Let's say he did. Wherever that might be.
So my understanding is that it's in operations. He's somewhere here on this in Lysenko.
Yeah, I think you would have implied that for sure.
Yeah. Well, Kirill, what do you suppose he has to say to me?
I think you will see that what I told you made good sense. Now, It is not in good sense to keep a general waiting, so if you would, get inside the fucking ship and talk to him over the phone, okay?
All right, so Vadim is going to walk up to the ship. Now, I have on my battle suit, I have comm links.
Uh-huh.
And do those go to the other people in my party? I have communication with them.
Yep.
I'm going to selectively open up while I'm kind of doing this. While I'm going to shut off the communication link temporarily to Kirill, but tell the other two that I'm going to talk to the general, but I would like them to keep an eye on Kirill because he seems to still be under the spell of the powers that be.
Svetlana's kind of hovering around. I think she can come over and at least, just to keep an eye on Kirill.
Okay. So just for dramatic purposes, why don't we say you guys are all kind of in the cabin now, and Svetlana's kind of hanging back watching Kirill. Kirill's watching Vadim talking on the screen, and Snacks, you still just working on the hacking job?
Yeah.
Okay. So Vadim, you come to the screen, and the general says, Comrade Lieutenant, what are your orders?
What are my current orders, or what were my orders in coming to this planet?
What are the orders you received that brought you to Vasyugan? What were you to do here?
We were informed that there was a supply ship that had gone down, that we were to investigate what had gone on with the ship and investigate why the planet was not responding. We were also informed that Lysenko Station had not been responding to hails.
Very well. You have done well, Comrade Lieutenant. Your mission is complete. You have traveled to Vasyugan. You discovered that the supply ship crashed due to mechanical failures. You have discovered that Lysenko Station has its communications were destroyed by saboteurs and capitalists, and you are now to return to Zenoy Station, let them know that the ministry will be taking it from here and that no further investigations are necessary. If you agree, I will release the ship, I will open the hangar, and you may return to your base. Do you understand?
I understand.
And you will never speak to anyone about what happened on this planet in your entire lifetime. Can you agree to this? And can you confirm that your other team members will comply with that order?
I can absolutely agree. I would not have been in this business as long as I have if I could not be trusted with such orders as you have given me just now.
Excellent. Very well then. I am now, and he reaches down, he pushes some buttons, and Snacks, all your work is gone to naught because the command codes have been entered. The launch codes are now there for you. The hangar starts to open up, and it looks like you guys are free to go. He says, you're a lucky man, Lieutenant. I've been following your progress through the station on the cameras, and you remarkably kept your nose out of places that didn't belong. If you had gone to different spots, I might not have been able to allow you to leave, but, well done. And the screen goes black.
Okay. I'm going to turn to the other members of my party and say, okay, it looks like we have been cleared. Before we get going, let's do a quick check on the ship to make sure that no surprises have been planned for us that would keep us from exiting.
Okay. Make a, like, what would you check? Like make sure there's not
I want to just make
self-destruct
sure
set off or something.
Yeah, that there's not some type of self-destruct device or any other kind of like nasty, device or computer routine or something like that would.
Okay, so Snacks, you're like the ship guy. So roll on like let's see, hacking or engineering or jury. Yeah, hacking, engineering. We'll call it engineering. We'll cover like in hacking, kind of helps cover that too. So, and you're getting assistance. So make a intellect check with your hacking, rolling at advantage. Okay, so you see there's nothing suspicious. Looks like it's just a regular, well engineered, perfectly ship, ready to fly spacecraft.
Yeah, everything looks good.
There
I'm
are
ready to take off when you are.
cameras. There are cameras that are, sending out a signal, presumably, to the general, because he seemed to know what you guys were doing and stuff. But otherwise, no, nothing else suspicious.
If that's the case, then I think Vadim will say, Snacks, let's fire up the engines and why don't you get us out of here?
Okay.
Before we leave, gentlemen, I have one more proposition to make all of this. Vadim, you heard what he said to me. We all heard what he said. I'm sure he hears us even now. General, give me your heads-up display, and I will toss it out of the back of this ship, and we all go home. It is your last chance.
Vadim, I guess I'm to understand that the general is probably seeing and hearing all of this.
Yeah, that seems pretty clear.
Vadim is sitting here thinking, I'm gonna say just a second, and I'm in this big suit still, right? I'm like I'll say I need to get out of the suit to do this, and so I'm going to use that opportunity to pass. I'm going to try to pass a note to Kirill. Would that be possible for me to kind of jot something down?
Yeah, I think so. Let's make No, I think we'll just say you can do it. There's enough blind. Snacks examination. You can kind of tell where the blind spots are of the cameras. So yeah, you can go ahead and do that.
And the gist of the note is going to be, I'll make you a deal. I pretend I will give this to you, but I will pretend I'm going to give you two things. I'm going to give you the real headset. I'll give you something that looks like the headset. You throw the fake headset out and you keep the real one. So that everybody will be happy. The general will think that the real one has been thrown out, but you keep the real one. And we can have further discussion as to what to do with that one.
So Kirill glances at the note, so is this? He has the fake headset, everything. So Kirill takes them in his hand, and he steps out. He steps out the back of the ship, and onto the ramp leading into it, so he can, just toss it out the back. And he looks at the two objects in his hand, and he is going to take the real one. He throws away the decoy.
Okay.
And walks back in.
So you keep the real one. That has the information.
I am going to keep the real one, but he walks out and walks back in, and he doesn't say anything.
Okay.
So, the people in the ship, or Vadim specifically, I don't think knows which one he has.
Right.
Okay. Anything else before you strap in and take off?
I don't think so. I think Vadim is gambling here, but he's ready to go.
Okay. As you guys strap in, Snacks, takes control of the controls, the piloting controls. This ship is sweet, flies real nice, much better than your drop ships. And you power it up, and you shoot right out of the hangar. You go flying up. The tower is there, kind of in the background. You see the big radar dishes and missile batteries, and the radar dishes are spinning around, and the missile batteries are just sitting there though. And you look, half expecting, are they going to shoot us down? What's going to happen here? But you just fly off into space, and you return to Xenoi base. Let's do like an epilogue kind of thing for each of you. So to kind of fill that in better, you return to base, and let's say, I think maybe a good way to do this is you're talking with the person that you had the interview with. So I'll go back to the pictures to kind of remind you guys of who that was for each of you. And they're asking you, what happened on the base, kind of like, whether it's an official or just like an informal conversation, they're kind of asking you, what happened? And let's see what you tell them. Let's start with, I don't know, I kind of feel, let's just randomize it, see what happens. So Svetlana, let's start with you. So you're back at base. It's a few days later. You've all gotten checked out. You've gotten the kind of medicine you needed to avoid getting the illness that you were in danger of getting. You've gotten cleaned up, and you're sitting with Komarov, and he says, you hand over the lilies that you got for him, and he says, "So, did you see anything interesting on Vasugan? What happened?"
Comrade Doctor, there were many interesting things on Vasugan, and I'm not sure I can fully bring to bear just what that experience was like. In addition to the lilies, I think I'd share one of the dead life forms that we found too.
Yeah, you had gathered some DNA, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe I would just try to describe the monsters that we saw. We saw much larger versions of these animals that you've been studying. We fought much larger versions of these animals, and they were vicious. Let's hope that they stay on Vasugan and don't come anywhere near Zenoy.
He says, well, the planet's been quarantined now. Hopefully at some time in the future, the state will allow us to continue research on the planet, but for now, it's locked down by the ministry.
Well, it's good that we got those lilies out. I guess when we did, what do you think that those are going to help us with? I didn't get a chance to look at them.
He says, well, it's going to help with sexual vigor, of course. And he kind of fades off. Next up is Vadim. Vadim, you go and you talk to the Colonel Sergei Pasternak. Sort of an informal or a formal debriefing. What do you think?
I think it's similar to the initial conversation that I had. So I guess somewhat informal.
Yeah.
He's I walk in there and probably smell, liquor on his breath. He's probably still offering me, right, to sit down and have a drink.
Mm-hmm. And he says, Lieutenant, tell me what happened on the planet. I see the general reports that you completed the mission successfully. They've been able to reestablish long-term communication. Is there anything else you have to report?
And the general that talked to you, was that General Sokolov?
Yes. You did a good job helping them get their communications back online. He's very pleased with your performance. Well,
If he's pleased with my performance, you must be pleased with my performance.
Of course I am. If a general's happy, then I'm happy.
If that's the case, could I ask a favor?
Of course.
That was a difficult mission. I'm not afraid to admit it. I think I probably have a little R&R time that ought to come my way.
I could find you somewhere nice. You and Laka, or is it Lata? Lata.
Yeah, Lata.
Maybe I could talk to my my friend, the colonel at her base, and give her some time too. What do you think?
That would be, I would say, the least that you could do.
And is there anything you can tell me that of what made this mission so hard?
Well, let's just say that the landing was rough, the going was rough, and The general was nice enough, but let's just say I hope I never have to meet him again.
So he reads between the lines. You can tell you're going to be tight-lipped. So you guys finish your drinks, and we move. I'm going to save Kirill for last, I think. So let's do snacks. You're talking to Comrade Quartermaster. Was there Olya? And she says, "Wow, that ship you came back in, that's a doozy. The ministry says that we can keep it. We can keep it here, and that's you guys. That's your new drop ship. What do you think of that?"
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I mean, I poked around that thing a little bit. It's got some bells and whistles on it.
Yeah, we're gonna put some weapons on it, and you guys are gonna be the best, well-equipped team in the whole sector. So, did you get anything valuable from that Basugan? You pull anything out of there you can sell?
No, not really. I mean, it was kind of a mess, really. I tried to scavenge a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it was all just they didn't let me poke around on any of the cool stuff.
She leans forward and she kind of whispers and kind of looks around. She says, "I've got some people asking me for information about it. It's locked down now. Nobody can get in or off that planet. Do you know anything that we could maybe sell some information? You got anything that we could use?"
I mean,
we're talking big money.
I know things. I mean, just between me and you, they're testing drugs down there, like some hallucinogenic stuff. Like you would not believe the things I thought I was seeing. It was wild.
Huh. Well, I've got some smuggler friends. Maybe we can figure out a way to get on the planet and get some of that stuff.
Yeah, I think if you can sneak on there and find the source of whatever they're smoking down there, you can sell that stuff for a lot.
And finally, let's have a talk with the regional head commissar, David Petrovich. And Kirill, you're sitting in his office, and he's got camera feeds of all of these conversations that the other three have just had. And he says, "Well, Commissar, what do you think? Can we trust them? Are any of them a danger to the operational security of the Vasugan?"
Whether or not Anatoly decides to send a smuggler down to the planet, one will come. It is inevitable in a rim world like this. Svetlana, I'm suspicious, but the doctor here is, frankly, in my experience observing him, he is an idiot. He is focused on his side little pet projects, cares about nothing else. I do not think he will be an issue at all. Now, Vadim, I do not know. I could not tell you. But I trust that, at least for now, he will say nothing.
And in your talk with Petrovich, you can tell that he knows everything that you know about the planet and much, much more. And he says, "What about you, Commissar? Can we trust you?"
I serve the Union of Progressive Peoples.
And I think that's where we'll stop. All right, so let's debrief a little bit. So I was telling Brad at the break, you guys getting down into that sub-level completely diverged my idea of how this was going to go. So on the break, I was racking my brain figuring out how to have some halfway satisfying conclusion. I don't know if I succeeded or not, but there was a lot more going on the planet. As I usually do, when I run things, especially doing it like in the week to week kind of things, I edit and subtract and add things a lot, and I did that a lot in this too. But yeah, did it feel like a satisfying conclusion, or did it feel I don't know, ragged, or I don't know. What are your feelings about how it ended? Put it that way.
I am curious as to what Kirill did with the headset.
That's true.
Yeah, whether does Kirill turn that in? Did he keep it to continue to contemplate what he ought to do?
Yeah, what did you do with that, Kirill?
I mean, that's a good question. I feel like that's sort of like if I was going to take these characters and continue down this story, then I feel like the natural turn, right, is that the party rebels against the corrupt communist leadership and, tries to create their own socialist revolution. Yeah, I feel like political revolutionary to re-radicalize the communist leadership is probably where he would have headed.
Yeah, that sounds like Kirill. You've I was going to add this as a wish, or not a wish. I guess it would be a wish, or just a good a positive feedback for you that Kirill it was really complicated the way you played out his patriotism, but also his own. He wasn't a dyed in the wool, follow the leader kind of guy. He definitely had his own idiosyncratic way that he was patriotic, but very firm in those beliefs for sure. So it was a real interesting tight walk that you did in his playing his character. I really liked it. So I guess the answer then is Kirill is holding on to the headset kind of secretly.
Yeah, I think that's his big bargaining chip now.
And I think, whether it ever happens, I mean, certainly it's in the realm of possibility that these characters would have other adventures. The way the mission ended, I was really tempted. There was so many places I'd be like, oh, I could self-destruct their ship, or I could send a missile to destroy them. But I found all of those possibilities cheap. You guys really sincerely didn't know enough to be killed. You knew too much, but you didn't know. You knew something, but you didn't know enough that they couldn't trust your answers. So when you said the right things to the general, I felt like it was okay that they would let you go. They're going to keep their eyes on you. There's going to be cameras and secret agents following you for probably many, many years. But I think it was fair that they let you go.
Yeah. I mean, the way I was thinking about it from Vadim's point of view is, he's the grizzled veteran, also a counter-revolutionary, but he knows, I feel like, okay, it wasn't necessarily the most heroic ending, but I feel like, Vadim would not have survived this long if he was the super heroic type, right? That he, what allows him to survive is that he kind of knows the games and the compromises that have to be made, right? And he's probably seen plenty of people who are kind of counter-revolutionaries who do the more heroic action, but probably has learned that their life expectancy is not particularly long.
Mm-hmm.
And Vadim has been around a lot, so right, he knows the types that he's dealing with, right? When he was talking to that general, he probably knew exactly what kind of character he was dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think it was really nice, the tensions that Vadim and Kirill had, the coming to an agreement about how to handle the HUD kind of was a nice capstone or a nice the way to kind of bring that to that arc, I guess, to a satisfying conclusion. So that was nice to see. And I think what Josh said is right. I think it's fair to say this is a to be continued kind of thing where I think the next logical step would be you guys secretly figuring out a way to work clandestinely, to work against the system. That's what would be next. Although, I mean, how much do you guys feel? Like I said, I mean, I know there's a lot more going on in the adventure that you didn't learn about. Do you have a ton of questions in your head, or do you feel like, well, I kind of know what was going on, or are you completely lost, or somewhere in the middle? And related to that, do you have any questions about what was going on? I'd be happy to share, or would you rather not know? That's fine too.
I feel like I could probably guess right now and get it pretty close. You know, I feel like I'd be within the margin of error if I were to right now sort of guess what the further reveals were to be.
Okay.
But obviously I could be totally wrong. So
Sure. And I don't want to say, because like I said, I can totally understand where you guys would like, I don't really want to know. Like I like it better knowing what my character knows, and that's fine. But well, let's do some like stars and wishes. So in this sense, a star would be, you know, positive feedback you want to give to someone, what something they did that you really thought was great. What else? A moment in the game, an element of the overall experience that you loved, and then a wish, something that you would have liked to have seen more of or have had done differently. And in addition, maybe under wishes, please give me any feedback to myself. This is just my third game mastering online on the Gauntlet here, so it's still a new experience for me, and I am ambitious, I guess, in this, that I do want to get better. So any feedback you can give me would be great. And that would include technical stuff, you know, the Roll20, the explaining rules, running the game, then stylistic stuff, tone, you know, spotlight, pacing, you know, all that kind of stuff that goes into game mastering. So anyways, stars and wishes, let me randomize once again, and we'll see who is first. If you know your star and your wish at the same time, go ahead and share them both. So number 3, that is Brad.
I think for stars, maybe I'd say just the relationship between Creel and Vadim and the way that played out over the course of the sessions, and also the way that it changed. I thought I liked the end and not really knowing what Creel's choice was. I also got a kick out of Snacks embracing his shotgun as we fought through some of the bad guys. Thought that was some great visuals.
Mm-hmm.
For wishes, one thing that I am curious about, I guess, like what it did to your from your perspective, was retconning the color of the planet when after you'd done like all the images and maps and stuff in green.
I liked it. I think that it was better for the mood and tone we were looking for. Plus, you picked it, and it's important for you guys to have that kind of input. So all I had to do really is I picked out that one picture of the red forest, some sort of painting that someone had done.
Yeah, that was
And
really cool.
I just allowed you to just sort of like imagine that all the other pictures, even though they're not red, they are really red. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So no, it didn't really cause me any extra headaches or anything. That's for sure.
Cool. Yeah, for my part, I really loved the adventure. I thought you did a great job.
Thank you.
This is my first multi-session game ever. So I thought it was really cool. I thought the pacing worked really well. There was always like some sense of mystery and foreboding, even for those couple sessions before we really got into combat.
Right.
I had a lot of fun. I thought everybody did awesome.
It's the first time you played multi-session online, like at the Gauntlet, or like even like face-to-face games?
Even face-to-face. I'm
Wow,
pretty new
all right.
in general.
Wow, okay. Well, that's cool. I'm glad to have given you a good experience in your first multi-session kind of game. Let's go kind of down the order that I've been using all game, which is after Svetlana would have been Kirill. Josh, what kind of stars and wishes you got?
Yeah. Stars to everyone at the table for really just building a world that felt like it made sense. I believed, right, this like universe that our characters were existing in and surviving in. And that's not always a given in games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, that was great. Wishes, I feel like as a player, I should have pushed more to sort of explore, because I as a player enjoy exploration.
Mhm.
And I did. I very much enjoyed our session, you know, and I think it was the right decision as a character to make. That Kirill did not, you know, stop by and be like, "Oh, what's behind this door?"
Right.
But I don't know. I would have liked to have played with a less party-minded group and to, you know, look a little bit too deep and then get blown up by a cruise missile.
Right. Yeah, you know, and it's interesting. I certainly created the resources to allow you guys to do that. Like, you know, like I said, there's a lot more stuff. There were maps with lots of rooms and all that kind of stuff. There was maps you guys didn't even, you know, going upstairs potentially could have been, you know, I was going to do a quick version of it today if you guys went upstairs in the tower, but you certainly could have been a multi-session sort of like room to room kind of deal. But I do like the way it went. I think the game that we wanted to play was not that, right? It was more, you know, point crawl, like significant moment to significant moment, I guess, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that definitely would have been a very fun game to play too, where you get into the nitty gritty of like what's really going on and what's in this room and what's in that room. Let's go next to Vadim. Robbie?
Yeah, I think one of the things with this kind of a game, you know, I think one of the challenges is getting the right balance between the kind of tactical combat side of things and then the more kind of character development side of things. And I think we struck a really good balance. I mean, that was very enjoyable and very satisfying. And I think that there are a number of reasons for that. I think that one is at the table, I think everybody was bringing it to the table and everybody had a kind of really solid understanding of what this game was about in terms of, you know, trying to get some kind of story arc development going on while also kind of having fun with the combat scenes. Mm-hmm. And I think the system kind of supports that as well. I mean, it's you know, the fighting is fun and there's like this kind of tactical thing that's kind of going on with that, but then it also is streamlined enough to kind of allow for the kind of role playing and that type of stuff to occur. And I think also the way you had it set up with like those various you know, colonels and commissars, etc., right at the beginning to kind of like, and the kind of intrigue of what exactly is going on that planet. And, you know, it's better off not to find out about what's going on the planet.
Right.
And you know, as you know, with Josh, I think I really, there clearly was like when I saw the final map with the hangar at the end of it, is like, oh, there's probably really some good juicy stuff through some of those other doorways. But I mean, it really kind of came down in my mind to like, okay, if we start opening up those doors, I felt like the characters are probably gonna, you know, go out in a blaze of glory. Whereas if we scurry on down to the hangar and find the ship there, we might
just close your eyes and get out of here. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thanks for that. And Robert, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, just overall, well, I really like definitely the give and take there between Vadim and Kirill. And also, a lot of that setup of where we each had that NPC kind of back at the base that we kind of identified with, or at least interacted with, that was cool. And yeah, I mean, the star throughout the whole series, Vadim and Snacks kind of sort of bonding, because like I was super prepared for at the end to be like, oh yeah, of course I sell all the information I have. But then I'm like, well, Snacks probably sees Vadim surviving and doing the smart thing and probably has this moment of, yeah, I'm not going to be around for long if I just, jump into this and sell off information. So that kind of paid off in the end. Wishes, yeah, I mean, kind of like what everyone else said. I was looking for an excuse for Snacks to be like, hey, we should check behind this door. And the only thing I come up with is behind one of the doors that said kitchen. Like, well, Snacks probably is hungry. But other than that, I didn't really have a real reason, because, yeah, me as the player, I was like, yeah, I do want to see, what is in that room, some of those labels. It's like, oh, what is the breeding pit? But then it's like, well, if I was really Snacks, I want to get the hell out of here.
Right.
So, yeah, it made sense.
And you guys definitely, you could see like the map on the wall that says like, breeding pit, like holding tanks. You're like, maybe we don't want to go there. Yeah. Let's just get out
so
there.
Maybe from a technical perspective, doing some of the Roll20, like, map hiding and showing and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we had somehow gotten access to that map, not necessarily knowing, even as players, what was behind any of the doors, maybe would have been interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like I said earlier, that would have been a different game, though.
Right.
Yeah. Robert, I have a specific question for you, because you played the Alien role-playing game with me back in November. And, for the other guys, my 3 games I've played on the Gauntlet have been Alien twice and now this. And they're both sci-fi survival horror games. And Robert, you played Alien with me. If you remember it all, what are your thoughts about comparing and contrasting the two systems?
I think I prefer Mothership, given the choice. Something about it feels. I mean, it's weird because it feels a little bit crunchier, but it also felt loose enough that we had more of a narrative going. I mean, granted, we had more sessions for this, but we did have more of a narrative going, and we were doing more storytelling than we did in Alien. So yeah, I don't know. I felt like the character choices and even the combat, I felt like was a little bit tighter in this versus Alien. But I know we also had some issues with Alien combat because we were using Roll for Your Party for initiative.
Yeah.
Some of that was clunky. So maybe I should give it another chance.
No, that's interesting. Did you guys? Well, my stars and wishes wise, so I agree. Your characters were all super interesting, and as I said in an earlier session, they were very distinct. Kirill and Vadim's sort of like nexus, going at it with each other, and then coming to some sort of like, I don't know, peace, maybe we'll call it, at the end was really neat to see. And Snacks, he's quiet, but he always had Snacks type things to say and do, and I think actually in the games I played, like I said, I played with you before, Robert, and you're kind of that same style in that game too, where you just would come out with these wonderful on target character things to say. Svetlana kind of was the quiet one, but you were really on top of like doing the scientific stuff as we played, and kind of covering your role and doing it really well. So I think your characters were all really wonderful. My favorite part of the game actually, and probably because this, I actually, and as we played it, I realized this is really probably two adventures. There's the traveling through the jungle part of the story, and then there's the station part of the story. So if we were to do it differently in some imaginary future, I would probably divide it into two different months of games, and just have break it up that way. Because I think the mood and just sort of the way it runs was different. I really liked the first part of our game, moving through the jungle. This sort of, at least on I'd be curious to see what you guys think, but on my side, I really enjoyed the sort of buildup of tension, without combat, without any actual real danger necessarily, but just that there was this building. And I'm curious, how do you guys feel about the buildup of stress? I will say one thing I'll say off the top of my head is, in a normal game, you don't level up as much, because I know you guys naturally would take advantage of like getting rid of all your stress when you leveled up, which is a perfectly natural, normal thing to do. It makes sense. But then in a real game, but then it would just be like this artificial, like all this tension builds and then it's like down to zero, mechanically all of a sudden. But anyways, I'm rambling. But that first part of the game, just that building up of tension and foreboding, I really enjoyed that part of our game. Probably the best part for me. The scenario, as I created the scenario, what I was hoping to get out of it, I feel like we definitely got it. Like I said, I ended up editing a lot to kind of match the tone and the direction that you guys were taking. And I like, the kind of changes that were made as we went through it. Going back to me asking Robert about Alien, I'm thinking maybe I'll run it again sometime in the future, but using the Alien role-playing game instead, just to see how it plays. I don't know, the question of like the game of Mothership, and I'm not sure how. I guess I do. Going into, I like I said, I've been playing it at home and I like it, but I don't love it in my face-to-face group. And then when we started this, I thought, well, this will be an experiment to see how I like it. And when I started out, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like this game that much. But I will say, as we played it, I do like it. I will say one thing, it's kind of the opposite of what Robert said, but I think I kind of find the combat is a little clunky. I find myself having to like house rule and create things on the fly, which actually is part of OSR. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not, I actually, again, it's kind of the opposite of what Robert said, but I think Alien is a little more tight, or at least it covers the kind of things you need to have in the rules. So I do know in Mothership, they talk about trying not to have long combat. So like our last combat in the Hainer was pretty long, probably a little too long. Like if you're going to play Mothership, you want to try to have short combat so you don't get bogged down by just dice roll after dice roll, because it loses its flair, it loses excitement, I guess. But that's my final thoughts. So unless you guys have any other thoughts, thank you very much. And I think that's it.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And just one quick comment on the Roll20. I thought that was handled very well. I mean, running things online, I'm running things online, and it's if I had to choose, I would prefer face-to-face, because you don't have all those kind of technical things to worry about.
Sure.
But I thought it was handled well. I like the pictures, the maps, those kind of visual components, I think worked well, and also the way that once you get a handle of how the roles work, it kind of makes things pretty efficient.
Yeah, I'm definitely a convert to Roll20. Robert mentioned that the first game I played in the Gauntlet, I used like a character keeper and roll for your party, and it was hard. It was awkward for sure. But Roll20, then my second game, I used Roll20 for my second Alien game, and then this game, obviously. And it takes a little bit of time, and I'm sure, just having created 2 adventures on Roll20, this one is much more sophisticated than the first one I did, and I'm sure the next one will be that much more. I mean, it has its limits, but it certainly is a wonderful tool if you're willing to put the time into it. But thanks. All right, guys. I'm sure I'll see you sometime down the road. Brad, I'm glad you had a chance to play in multiple. How did you end up? I'm just curious. I wouldn't imagine someone totally brand new to gaming would start with the Gauntlet. You know, like how did you end up finding the Gauntlet?
I have actually started with the Gauntlet, but it was more narrative story games. So I've done maybe a half dozen single session games of like For the Queen and Reflections and some stuff like that.
But how did you know, like obviously, like you're like a new tabletop gamer, so you're like, I like playing tabletop games, I want to find more games. How did you know to go to the Gauntlet? You know what I mean?
I think I found Codex first.
Oh, all right.
And then realized that there were games being played behind that.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly, I think it was the zine first, and then realizing how many games, and Mothership was something that had caught my eye, so that there was an open seat in that game was kind of what drew me to this specifically.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. All right. Well, bye, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks.
Good night.
Bye.